everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have some new shelves behind me, which I'm so stoked about because now I get to display some of my sewing and other random things behind me. In this episode, I have another swimsuit transformation for you. Since so many of you loved the last episode where I turned the dress into a swimsuit, I thought I would challenge myself to see what other designs I could come up with. If you're new to my channel, I make DIY fashion videos every week, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any new videos. I'm also on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can follow me on there to see what I'm working on next. Or if you're a supporter of mine on Patreon, you actually get to see the final transformation before anyone else. This is a dress I found at Savers for $9. It's completely brand new with the original tag still on it. My favorite part is the pinstripes mixed with the vibrant floral print. I immediately imagined a one-piece swimsuit when I saw it. The material feels soft and stretchy, and it's also very thick, so it won't be transparent in water. The first thing I did was seam rip the dress apart to see what I have to work with. I know that I want a seam running across the waist, which the dress already has, and this is going to give the swimsuit a high-waisted illusion, which will also elongate your legs. I fit the top on my sister by taking in the side seams, and then redesigned the shape of it because I want it to be low in the back. I also want a little cutout in the front, so I cut out a half circle shape above the waist. Next, I fit the high-waisted skirt on her because we want it to be tight for the bikini bottoms. To create the high-waisted bottom, I had my sister wear a pair of bikini bottoms underneath the skirt so I can feel for and mark the underwear line. Then I can lay the skirt down, find those lines I marked, and trace the bikini bottoms in the front and back. I marked and cut out the front side first so that when I cut the back side, I can just blend the side seams together. Once the front and back are cut, you can sew them together at the crotch seam. Now that the top and bottom of the swimsuit is made, I have my sister try it on so we can match up the waistline. Before sewing the top and bottom together, I have to stretch and sew elastic around the cutout so it stays in shape and also hugs the body more. Since the fabric is on the thicker side, I have to really stretch the elastic as I sew for it to work. Because the first time I tried sewing it, I didn't stretch it enough, so it didn't pull everything together the way I wanted it to. I'm also sewing it with a long and wide zigzag stitch. Now we can sew the swimsuit top and bottom together, and I just quickly sewed it with my serger. When my sister tried it on, the front of the waist was a little loose, which means I have to stretch and sew some elastic in that area as well. Place the elastic underneath the hem and zigzag stitch it down. The next step is optional, but since my swimsuit won't have a lining, I'm going to cover the crotch seam with some stretchy nude fabric I had at home. This is so the seams won't feel uncomfortable down there, and I probably should have used a matching color lining, but I didn't want to use the same fabric as the swimsuit in case it was too thick. Sewing the first side down is pretty simple, just space it right sides together to the inside of the swimsuit and sew straight across. Then when you flip it over, you have a nice clean seam. The other side, however, is a little trickier because you can't flip it over to lay flat anymore because the other side is already sewed down. So you'll just have to work your way underneath to sew that seam down. I know it's confusing to explain, but it's actually pretty simple to do once you try it yourself. Now I can serge around both the leg holes and hem the raw edges. To hem the raw edges, you'll need to sew some elastic around it as well. Measure out some elastic that will wrap snug around your butt, and then sew the ends together so it's a circle. Next, evenly stretch and sew the elastic around the leg hole as you hem. I do all the hemming with a long and wide zigzag stitch. To make the swimsuit straps, I made some black straps out of additional black swim fabric I purchased in the last episode, and I'm also using the same technique I did for the last swimsuit. I went into more detail in the last episode on how to make these straps, so if you haven't seen that yet and want to learn, then check that video out. Remember the off-shoulder sleeves from the dress? Well, now I'm going to open it flat so it's no longer on fold, and then I cut it in half down the middle to create two smaller strips. Make sure you're cutting clean lines with a sharp scissors or rotary cutter because the edges won't be hemmed. Then sew the two pieces together to create one long strip. Next, I sewed a basting stitch along one side and gather it by pulling on the bobbin thread. This is going to create the ruffled look for the top of the swimsuit. After sewing and gathering the stretchy fabric, it no longer has stretch to it, so I had to stretch and sew some elastic along the gathered edge. Now we can attach the ruffles to the swimsuit, and you want to make sure that the right side of the ruffles with the print on it is facing the wrong side of the swimsuit. That way, when it flips over to the other side, the print is in the front. I match up the center of the ruffles to the center of the swimsuit and evenly stretch and pin the ruffles all the way to the back. Now is also the time to sandwich the straps in place, but make sure to try it on and mark the placement of them first. Once everything is pinned, go ahead and stretch and sew the ruffles to the swimsuit with a long straight stitch. Lastly, flip the ruffles over to the right side, and to stop them from flipping back over, I top stitched them down along the edge. Here is the final transformation. I also wanted to give a big thank you to Zushu for inviting us over to this beautiful house in Palm Springs to do our photo shoot at. As usual, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more DIY fashion, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!